Good afternoon from ELBC in Pingsville. I'm Hassan Kewa, and this is Newsline. 1 full hour of news, views, counter-views, background reports, and analysis of issues in and around Liberia. In today's edition, President Joseph Boakai launches Ramadan rice distribution for Muslims nationwide. Government maintains pump prices for petroleum products amidst ongoing war in oil-rich Middle Eastern region. Environmental Protection Agency warns against burning dirt in communities and cities across Liberia. And away from home, South Africa's former defense minister and anti-apartheid campaigner dies at the age of 77. These and many more to come, including the news in French, simple Liberian English, your weather. But first, here is Bartley Kamara and the bulletin.
President Joseph Boakai has launched the 2026 National Ramadan Rice Distribution in Monrovia. The exercise is part of the president's annual contribution to members of the Muslim community during the month of Ramadan. Minister of State without portfolio Mama Kability launched the rice distribution exercise on Wednesday on behalf of President Joseph Boakai.
Bring relief to families to relief are strengthen the bond within community and may this fall in renew our collective commitment to compassion, and national development.
According to Municipality, the annual process is targeting several mosques across Montserrat and other counties, as well as the vulnerable population. Municipality conveyed President Boakai's appreciation to the Muslim community as they continue to intercede on behalf of the nation and people. Meanwhile, the benefiting mosques in separate remarks lauded the president for the gesture and promised to continuously pray for Liberia's peace and prosperity. At the same time, President Joseph Boakai has submitted 18 intellectual property protocols to the Senate for ratification. They are the Arusha Protocol for the protection of new varieties of plants and the Kampala Protocol on voluntary registration of copyright. Others are the basic text on the UNESCO Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of 2003 and the Genetic Resources and Associated Traditional Knowledge, among others. In his communication, President Boakai said the instruments represent strategic policy initiatives for Liberia cultural preservation, intellectual property management, and investment promotion. Meanwhile, the instruments have been forwarded to the Senate Committee on Judiciary and Commerce for revision. Meanwhile, the Director General of the Liberia Intellectual Property Office, Gaman Koboe, has described the President's action as a milestone in intellectual property governance in Liberia. In a release, the LIPO Director General said the move by the President fulfills a long-standing commitment to domesticate critical instruments that Liberia had signed on. The release quotes Madam Koboe as saying, "The submission of the instruments marks a defining moment for every Liberian creator, farmer, and innovator who has labored without the full protection of international law." The release states that the instruments, if ratified, will modernize and strengthen copyright protection in the digital market and environment for musicians, authors, and sound producers across the country. She noted that the move will also reshape Liberia's intellectual property ecosystem and enable farmers and plant breeders to legally protect new crop varieties and attract agricultural investments. Government, through the Ministry of Commerce and the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, has issued a price circular on petroleum products for March 2026. The new petroleum product ceilings affect wholesale and retail market. Under the new rates, the government said pump prices for gasoline and fuel oil will remain stable in United States dollar terms, while retail prices are set at $4.02 for gasoline. The cost of fuel oil is $4.33, reflecting adjustments based on prevailing exchange rates and average flat pricing from the previous month. According to the Commerce Ministry, the announcement follows a high-level meeting with importers and petroleum stakeholders to assess the impact of ongoing instability in the global petroleum market. Meanwhile, government has expressed grave concern over the rising cost of petroleum products worldwide and reaffirms its commitment to shielding Liberian consumers from sudden unjustified price spikes. At the same time, relevant government agencies have been urged to closely monitor global market trends and to make necessary pricing adjustments in accordance with existing regulations. Government, through the Ministry of Commerce and LPRC, has assured the public that Liberia currently holds a significant and secure stock of petroleum products. A set of officials have activated a comprehensive contingency plan to ensure steady supply and market stability. The Commerce Ministry noted that government continues to work collaboratively with importers and dealers to safeguard the interests of all Liberians. At the same time, the Central Bank of Liberia says the ongoing conflict in the Middle East could significantly impact or affect the prices of major commodities on the global market. CBL Director of Monetary Policy and Research, Raji Adnan, says given Iran's role as a major distributor of fuel oil, the conflict could trigger a sharp increase in global fuel prices with possible ripple effects on Liberia's economy. Speaking on ELBC's Money Matters program Wednesday, Mr. Adnan expressed hope that the war will not be prolonged, noting that a sustained conflict could disrupt global trade facilitation.
Iran supplies the world with 20% of oil. If that 20% is cut down and OPEC is not able to raise production or their production level to compensate for that 20%, it's going to be a serious problem. Well, obviously, we will see rising prices.
He added that should the situation persist, the Central Bank of Liberia stands ready to deploy its reserves to absorb potential economic shocks and ensure the Liberian dollar remains stable and efficient. Mr. Annan said the CBL is currently reviewing or following the developments in Iran closely to macroeconomic stability and fair pricing. The Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, is warning citizens to desist from burning dirt in communities and cities across Liberia. EPA Executive Director Dr. Emmanuel Yakwawo said, not only is such action against Liberia's environmental laws, it raises public health threats for the environment. Dr. Yakwawo made a statement when he appeared on ELBC's Nightline program late Tuesday evening. The EPA boss disclosed that the agency is working to curtail the random burning of dirt while calling on citizens to follow measures to ensure proper waste disposal. Meanwhile, the EPA executive director reminded citizens of the effect of noise pollution and had highlighted efforts to reduce noise pollution in Liberia. Government has begun the solarization of the Dana K. Atkinson School of Midwifery in Grant, Jida County, following years of persistent power outage at the institution. The director of the only midwifery institution in the county, Madam Sowa Chapat, says the project is funded by the World Bank and is being implemented by the Ministry of Health. She noted that the repeated blackouts had disrupted classes, clinical training, and administrative work. Authorities believe the installation of the solar power system will ensure stable electricity and significantly improve training conditions for future midwives in the county. The coordinator of persons living with disabilities in Grand Cape Mount County, Arthur Brown, is appealing for support to complete an ongoing animal husbandry project in the county. Mr. Brown said the initiative has stalled due to the lack of funding, particularly for the procurement of essential materials for the building, which is currently at elevation level. He explained that once completed, the project will serve as an alternative source of income for members of the disabled community in the county.
Animal boundaries. That one we initiated ourselves. We started with building, we went to window level. We need planning, we need building. A lot of things we didn't have to complete the projects. So we are holding the national government attention to God and pay attention to people living with disability.
According to him, animal farming is critical, emphasizing persons living with disabilities are striving to empower themselves through sustainable initiatives. Mr. Brown wants government partners and local authorities to urgently come to their aid to ensure the completion of their project. UN Women, in collaboration with the Environmental Protection Agency, has commenced a 3-day policy dialogue. The dialogue is aimed at integrating The CARE Climate Nexus into national financing and investment plans. It will also identify key priorities affecting youth, children, and women for inclusion in Liberia's NDC 3.0 investment plan. The engagement is also expected to formulate policies that will ensure climate financing targets social infrastructure, including solar-powered water systems, community care centers, and other essential services. Delivering remarks at the opening session, Deputy Minister for Administration at the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Curtis Dole, described the workshop as timely and critical towards climate-related challenges. For his part, EPA Technical Representative Ben Kamal emphasized the importance of incorporating the needs of women, children, and persons with disabilities into national climate strategies. Women Deputy Country Representative Yemi Falayajo underscored the significance of the dialogue and commended Nigeria for its commitment to reducing carbon emissions by 2035. The newly inducted chairman of the National Civil Society Council of Liberia, Lawrence Yelu, has pledged to strengthen the council's presence across the country. Mr. Yelu also envisions the construction of a modeling office to serve as a hub for CSO activities, restore hope, and enhance transparency and communication nationwide. Speaking at his induction ceremony Wednesday in Cinco, Yelu said building the capacity of member organizations is key to ensuring meaningful and impactful advocacy. Mr. Yelu also commended his predecessor, Loretta Pope Kai, for her leadership and dedication in guiding the council. He also pointed out Madam Pope Kai's commitment to fostering unity and advocacy, noting that her contributions laid a strong foundation for the new leadership. Meanwhile, renowned human rights lawyer Councillor Tiawan Gonglu has urged the new leadership of the National Civil Society Council of Liberia to strengthen governance, peace, or place the welfare of citizens at the forefront. At the induction ceremony, the Liberian human rights lawyer cautioned that corruption drains resources, weakens services, and diminishes hope, emphasizing that public office is meant for service, not personal gain. Bapolu City Corporation, in collaboration with local authorities in Bapolu County, has launched a week-long cleaning up campaign in the area. The initiative, led by Bapolu City Mayor Cecilia Kier, aims to give several communities in Bapolu a facelift. A correspondent said as part of the campaign, the mayor's office has provided a pickup truck, a bag, and other tools to ease the work. Madam Kier emphasized the importance of cleanliness, noting that the situation is a key component of government's arrest agenda. Meanwhile, residents of Bapolu have welcomed the initiative and pledged to work along with the city corporation to clean and maintain their neighborhoods. And the Health Ministry is conducting a 5-day nationwide or national training for substance use disorder treatment providers in Monrovia. According to a release, the goal is to strengthen adherence to the national standards of care for substance use disorder as developed by the ministry. The training, with funding from the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, U.S. Department of State, brings together service providers from the public and private drug treatment and rehabilitation centers. The training is also expected to align local practices with internationally recognized principles and standards to ensure improved treatment outcomes for individuals and families affected by substance use disorder. It is being organized in partnership with Mother of Light Rehabilitation Program with technical support from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime.
Back to Kamara with the bulletin. He'll be back later with our weather and at the tail end of this program with public news. To this one, government through the Office of the President has donated a huge consignment of rice to members of the Muslim community during the month of Ramadan. The exercise is part of President Walker's annual national Ramadan rice distribution process. Launching the initiative in Monrovia Wednesday, the Minister of State without portfolio, Mamaka Ability, said the process demonstrates the President's quest for a united Liberia.
Ramadan is a sacred month, a month of